Welcome to Dear Sweet Mo. I'm Coach Sweet.
And I'm Love.
We're your one-stop shop for all things long-term conversations. As in, we're breaking down relationship topics step by step to get the most out of every juicy trend. This was your request today.
Yeah.
You sent me some stuff on TikTok, so we gotta talk about this. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about the soft guy era.
Which I had no clue that this was a thing, even though it's been a thing for quite some time in the reverse. The soft girl era came first, apparently. To break this down as succinctly as possible, it's when, and this is dealing with feminine and masculine energy. So, if you're a woman and you grew up, say, 80s and 90s, you were really, really pushed by all socials to do your strong, independent thing, meaning that you weren't going to depend upon a man to have a career or sculpt the life that you wanted. You're not waiting for the white knight in shining armor to rush in and say, I'll take care of everything, honey, which is awesome. That is an awesome position of power for a woman to own herself and what she thinks is strong and, empowering for her. Mm-hmm. Except when you have no team that backs you, being the strong, independent person, regardless of feminine or masculine energy, is exhausting. Then you get to this point, it's like, how do I tap into my more softer parts, my feminine vulnerability, my sweetness, the part of a woman that just wants to melt into a man's arms and just be like, oh yes, he's here, he's strong, I'm safe, I'm loved, I'm protected. So there's two sides of that. Mm-hmm. So that's what I believe happens to a lot of women, and myself included. That totally happened to me until I reached that point of I can't do this because I'm hard all the time. I was having to be so masculine all the time that it was crushing. A lot of men that sort of tried to be in my life during that time were not. They were more on the feminine side, or they were manly men who were just like, well, I don't have any place here. Mm-hmm. She can take care of herself. She can do all this. What am I there for?
Yeah.
There wasn't balance is what I mean. So in your words, tell me what the soft guy era is.
In my words, I would tell you what it is.
Yeah. Your version of this.
The soft guy era is pretty much where men are tired of women that take advantage of them, pretty much. For example, women are making, let's say a girl's making the same amount of money as a guy, right?
Okay.
But the guy is paying for everything.
Okay.
So guys are like, wait a minute, you guys are buying more houses than us, graduating more than us, making pretty much as us, but we have to pay for everything, so they're tired of it. So now they're like, oh, Saints, you're in your soft girl era where you don't want to spend any of your money, but we have to spend all of our money. Now we're going to go in our soft guy era and have y'all pay for stuff now. That's pretty much what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So years and years ago, this would not have been this switch. If the female was making more money, then the guy was staying at home. He was keeping the house. There was a division of labor.
Yeah.
Meaning that they could both sit down as a couple, as a team, and say what needs to be done on what front. Mm-hmm. A lot of guys they're not comfortable with that. Some of them are. They're totally like, yeah, I want to be a kept man. Just keep me. Let me go shopping. I will cook. I will clean. I will do all the things. It did not lessen their masculinity because they had that experience of, oh, wow, I can actually put my foot off of the gas pedal continuously and try to do this hustle, and I can actually be there for my female and still have that balance. So I guess there's too many people, too many women, I guess, in this instance that are like, well, I want all of the world. I want to be the queen in which I live in this Bridgerton fantasy and everybody's kneeling before me and giving me attention and accolades and gifts and jewels. It's just an overflowing thing without bringing anything to the table.
Pretty much.
I can see where that would get
Yeah, and
tiring, and crushing. Like, is
depression.
it?
So men are just, they're just pretty much repeating what women been saying
Yeah.
for the past 3 years about, you know, there was a viral video. A guy took a girl to the Cheesecake Factory, and she's like, "Why is he taking me to the Cheesecake Factory? Like he's broke." Like so, a guy would just redo that. So guys just redoing everything women been doing, and some some people are taking it very seriously, but it's just like satire. We're just literally repeating what y'all been doing this whole entire time. So it's funny to us.
Whole entire
It's
time.
funny to us, but
Not
but
all of us
we're
don't
low-
want to do anything.
But
Like,
we're
some of
low
us
key
want to bring it
serious.
to.
We're
Yes,
low key
yes.
serious too. It's like
Yes,
it really
we should
makes
be.
sense. It really makes sense. If we were making the same amount of money, why am I paying for everything? And why are you saving all your money and I have to pay for everything because I am this masculine man? You know what I'm saying? So what do you got to say about that? If a man and woman are making the same money, and
Yep.
why should a man pay for everything? That's what they're saying. That's what they're complaining about.
I don't understand that though, because like equality to me means that you're taking care of your man too, in
Yeah.
all sorts of ways, not just monetarily. But if we're making the same amount of money, we're in the same. Are we in the same house?
Yeah, if you're in the same house.
Okay.
But mainly, I think the South God era is for people who are dating. You know,
Got it.
for people who are
Okay.
guys who are dating who are struggling, and
Right.
paying and they're meeting women who are making the same amount of money as them, but the women want them to pay for everything. So I think it's that because it's in our nature as men to provide.
Correct.
It's in our nature, but the day and age we live in, 2024,
Is different,
it's harder. These guys can barely take care of themselves,
right?
and now they have to provide for a woman who's making the same as them.
Right.
So they're like, wait a minute, something's not adding up. But I can see back in the day where we have to go hunting, we have to go out and grow our own food and do this and do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
Everybody was working
2024,
hard. Yes.
taxes, a rent is going up, all of this
Yes.
stuff. Food is expensive. So guys are like, wait a minute. These girls, she's a nurse. She's making like $45 to $60 an hour, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm working at Amazon. Why? You know, I'm working at Amazon. She making more than me.
Okay.
I have to pay for all these dates,
Okay.
these vacations, this and that, and she hasn't done a single thing yet but look pretty. She's like, oh wait, my presence is what matter. I'm bringing my presence to the table. Me just being
Sure.
there
I mean,
is what matters.
If
I don't have to
she-
cook for you. You're not my husband. Pay for everything, though, but you're not my husband.
Right.
Once you put a ring on it, then I'll show you what the woman I truly am. So guys are like, nah, can't be no more. So they're starting to solve that error.
Oof. How can I unpack that? I do get that there was there's a huge gap in communication depending on how you grow up and the examples that you see from your parents and the surrounding culture. That if you consume nothing but social media in which a female is supposed to be the trophy, meaning she's the Kim Kardashian, but that girl's a hustler. Like, she owns businesses. She works tirelessly. She has a law degree. She's a high value woman in the sense that it's not just about the material things. It's also about like her sense of work ethic. Like, I'm going to keep my mental game sharp. I'm going to keep my physical game sharp. I'm going to keep my emotional game sharp. So in many ways, yes, we are the glue that keeps the family together, and that has been undervalued for a very, very long time. Because most of the emphasis was put on the man is the head of the household. He's the breadwinner, so he should have all of the choices, like where you live, what job he has, what budget it is, right? So, thousands upon thousands of years of that. Turning to the other side where this female is now having to play the role of the guy is pretty alarming. Some women, and I'm going to say this the same as men. There's maybe 10% of women who could be true alphas, who can own that position and feel like themselves rise to the occasion and handle that. They're really, really good at that, at juggling multiple jobs, children, bosses, whatever. Employees, they're good at that. But most of them, no, they're going to burn out. And of course, when you burn out, you want that soft girl era. Sometimes this means like a year or two just taking off and letting your dude be like, okay, can I heal? And then I really want to contribute to the success of our team. But that's not what a lot of females do. Because they don't have to wash the dishes by hand anymore. They don't have to wash the clothes by hands. They don't have to plant things. They don't have to can things. They don't have to make the meals. They could just, you could actually order it all to be handled to you. So I'm having a hard time like conceptualizing that because I love to work. I love to create things. I love to be a part of a team that feels balanced.
But all right. So what do you think? It's 2024, right?
Yep.
And
not much has changed, even though we say it's changed.
yeah, but there's a lot of traditions that we follow.
Yes.
That is inherently in our nature.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yes.
That really doesn't make too much sense right now.
Right.
Doesn't make too much sense.
Right.
Because of the struggles that people are going through, are facing right now.
Yeah.
The struggles, right? I'm not necessarily saying that I will struggle to pay for it. Like I can go eat anywhere I want pretty much, and I'll be okay.
Yeah.
But a lot of some of my friends, like they're struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
They're struggling a little bit. Things are expensive. Things are this. Things are that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll go, oh, bro, can I borrow this? It's fine. But what I'm saying is, for majority of people who are struggling, because most people are living paycheck to paycheck. Majority of people who are struggling, right? The traditions doesn't really fit them.
No.
But they're spending all their money. I don't blame the women though. I blame us.
Our society is very accountable for this.
No, I blame us as the men.
Okay.
Because you have to be smart. If you know you're broke, why are you going on all these dates?
Are you using that as an incentive though? To like, okay, so sometimes like you have to have like a goal in mind. Like I want this female. She has a lot of worth to me. I'm very much invested in her emotionally and physically. Like she's, she fits me. I want this image beside me to go through all of life's things. Yeah. So I'm going to use that as the incentive to push harder and to, I don't know, get a degree, get higher paying jobs. Like sometimes the female that's at home, that's being the encouragement to the man, is the reason that he can succeed. But if it is what you're explaining and they're not giving that kind of, like, they're not the foundation in which the man feels like he can succeed, she's just being like the arm candy or whatnot, that's very crushing. Yeah,
and there's a lot of good women out there though. There's a lot of wonderful women out there, but the ones who purposely are trying to take advantage of men is where the problem is happening. Because there's literally women like the sprinkle lady who is teaching women to target men with money, to take advantage of them, use their money, and not give anything in return for him.
Oh, she giving something.
I mean, you know what she's giving.
I know what she's giving. And if she's great at that, you go, bitch. Like, be the greatest at the great of that. Okay. Oh
man, but that's not sustainable.
So technically in psychology, this would be the freeloader problem, okay? Yeah. The Journal of Social Science, Psychology and Science found that 25% of women surveyed went on a date with an unpromising suitor, in hopes of a free meal at least once.
What is it, 25%?
Yeah.
I think it's way more than that. But who's going to admit that? Like, these stats...
Right. This is true. Right. It's a conservative number.
Yeah.
Yes, but there are a lot of good women out there who really feel like that's, like, I'm not doing that. Maybe in their subconscious, a part of them is saying, like, well, why not? I'll just go, if I don't like this guy on this date, at least I'm getting a free meal. Maybe that's
if I like him, it's just a free meal.
You never know when sparks hit, because you never really know. But
the guys are saying...
Okay. This is also called foodie calls.
Foodie calls.
Yeah. And sneating. Sneaky and eating. A combination of sneaking and eating. What the F? Okay. I'm going to be really honest with myself. Have I ever dated a guy just to get a free meal?
Don't lie. It's free
I
meal.
don't bother lying. It's such a waste of time.
Nice restaurant. He's like, I'll take you to, what's a good restaurant out here? Boom, boom, boom. Eat nice. You eat good. You come home.
There's been one situation, and this was an older gentleman too, but I really liked him. He was a great conversationalist. I mean, he had seen the world, the whole nines, and he's from the generation who was just like, you're not paying for anything. Like, that's an insult to me. Like, that's an insult of all the hard work that I have done.
Ooh.
Yeah. And he was the kind of girls like let's do the 7-course meal, but it always made me feel so uncomfortable because by the end of that meal, I was thinking in the back of my head, what is expected from me after this? So a high value woman is not automatically going to think, let me trade some kind of physical contact for this kind of meal. So I didn't, but at the same time, I was thinking it.
Yeah.
What is he expecting?
Mm-hmm.
And when did the negotiations for that start? Because that conversation is never said like out and out, which I'm against anyway. So I'm the person who
Yeah.
has that conversation. It's like, what would you like? Most of the time, those kind of men, and I'm talking different generation. This is not your dating era right now, but those guys are very much, it is the value of your company. It is the value that, oh, thank God, I can have a conversation with somebody who actually likes me, who is engaged in asking me questions and wants to know about what I do at work or what I'm doing. And I did, because that's fascinating to me. Their story was fascinating to me. How could you stay like in a dinner with somebody if you knew that they didn't really like you? Like, that's so heartbreaking to me.
I don't think the soft guy era
Yeah.
is ever going to stop women from doing the things they do.
No,
Because-
if they're that insecure, if they're that young, and just like, I'm going to play this game to the best of my ability because I don't want to be used or taken advantage of or just seen as a sexual object. I
Yeah.
get that, but
It's not going to stop them. But it's going to like bring awareness to the men who spend their money on stupid things. Like, I'm not saying it's stupid, but things that they don't need to be spending their money on, like OnlyFans, you know? OnlyFans. Like, go into the
Okay,
club,
okay.
go into the club and just buying everyone drinks, chasing women, being a serial dater, wasting all your money and not focusing on yourself.
I love
You
that.
know?
Yes.
So they're gonna be like, dang, wait, I am being very careless with my money and I know I haven't made it yet. Maybe it's time for me to be really serious and be intentional on who I go on dates with. Because a lot of these women are using me, you know?
Yes.
It's gonna bring awareness.
Good.
But
Yes,
women are
yes,
gonna
yes.
continuously
Right.
try to find
Test
their
it.
best options.
Test it. Yes.
Like, I want the man who is the most successful, who's this, who's that. You know? In the process, I'm gonna take advantage of these little idiots on the way until I find my man. People always want the best. Then they might not get the best.
I think they do until they actually get their version of the best. And then they notice, like, here's a person who spent. So what they want and what they actually need are often two different things. So let's say that you're a 25-year-old woman and you really do want to be treated like the princess, the queen. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that if you actually contribute the same to him. If you get to view him as the prince and the king. If you get to treat him like that, like in your heart, your soul, there's that mutual respect.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, though, and you end up attracting a man who might be great on paper, so he might have all of the things, he might be able to supply you in the lap of luxury, but he has no emotional IQ. He doesn't know how to conversate with you. He does not know how to make love to you. He doesn't know how to interact with your friends. He doesn't know how to be like a real partner. So the thing that you wanted on paper in reality turns out to be like, oh no, this isn't my partner. So then you adjust your expectations and you start thinking like, wait a minute, what do I really value in a man? And that maybe that comes down to, I value if he is kind to strangers. I value if he can make me laugh. I value that he laughs at my jokes. I value that he doesn't. He's not playing this passive aggressive role, waiting for me to call the shots on everything. So, I want to circle back though, because I think psychologically speaking, a lot of what's happening in this era of I'm going to be this spoiled girl, but deep down, I'm waiting for the manly man to put his foot down because then I'm allowed to feel vulnerable and soft. Are they going to admit that? No, because to them, that's the opposite of what our culture right now is saying is a good thing for a female, right? But deep down, once you have a man who's like, no, like, we can't treat each other like that. I'm not going to let you treat me like that.
Yeah.
Something switches in a female that's like, he did that with respect, with love. He stood up for himself. Maybe I don't need to bring the masculine energy as much. So I think a lot of these things are subconsciously testing a male. Testing. Like, how much are you going to let me get away with? And the same is true in reverse. Like, if a dude is always stepping out, if he's always prioritizing things above his female, he's testing that woman. How much are you going to put up with?
Yeah.
How much can I use you and bend you and mold you until I find the one? Until I find supposedly the one. So it's just something to note of like, what game are you playing? What game are you really playing?
So there's a lot of arguments going on about who is the table.
I like the table.
Right.
First,
So
like, my kink self was thinking like of a human table.
So who do you think is the table in a relationship? The man or the woman? And don't say both. We both the table. Everybody wins. No. Who do you think is the table?
It depends on the relationship. But no, seriously, if you are doing all of the work, you are the foundation. And I don't want to say table, you're the foundation of the house. Like the walls and the structure and everything, like that depends on you. If you crumble, there goes your security, there goes your safety. Like you can't progress to the level of actual goals of like, these are my life goals. So
I think
I'm old fashioned.
I think it just depends on the person though.
It does depend on the
some relationship the man is the table, some relationship the woman is the table. It just depends on how much you value yourself.
And some relationships they switch.
Yeah.
Like the guy starts as the table, and then the deeper they get into things, like he burns out too. He could get to his 40s and just be like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I don't know how to have fun anymore. I don't know how to play anymore. There's no light at the end of this tunnel. And then that is often a time the female of the relationship, I'm stepping up. Like, I got to be the table now.
I mean,
the real partner.
the table doesn't necessarily have to be a provider though.
Okay.
Somebody who consider themselves the table is like they consider themselves the prize of the relationship.
Okay.
Like you're almost like I am more valuable than you, pretty much. That's how they be looking at it. Like you want me more than I want you. You need me more than I need you. Kind of. That's how people look at it when it's saying I'm the table.
Yes.
I'm the prize.
Yes.
I am more valuable. I am better than you. Pretty much. That's what they're saying. No sugarcoat. Right?
That's a rough way to look at a relationship.
Sometimes people just think they're better. Like
Sure,
there's some women.
certain things.
There's some women who probably are the most beautiful person in the world, whatever to them.
Yeah.
And a guy values how beautiful and amazing she looks.
Right.
So he give her wherever she wants. She's the prize for him.
Yeah, I know that experience. Yeah.
You know that experience?
I do.
You experienced that before?
Yes.
You were the table. You're the
I'm the
prize.
table. In a lot of ways.
You're the prize. But then some relationship where the guy,
looking on the mental side too,
the
like
guy
he
runs
brings
everything.
so much. Like
he can
so
bring all he
much.
wants. He can bring all he wants, but
in a physical realm.
But it's the things that he's bringing. What if he didn't bring any of those things? Were you still wanted that person?
If he didn't bring anything to my table, why would I engage in that?
That's what I'm saying.
Right. And this is being honest though. I would not entertain that. Because I'm not just thinking about me, I'm thinking about my family. I'm thinking about the welfare of my whole community. Like as the female's feminine energy is the task of like, I have to make sure that my tribe is secure. So it's not just me, but if he's not bringing anything to the table, then he's detracting from it. He's actually taking more. And that is going to eventually crumble everything else.
And now you're stating what the guy's been saying.
Yeah. I feel that. I feel
that. You're like,
she
I'm paying for all this stuff.
Yes, but what are you bringing to me?
Yeah,
that's
and
just
they,
like,
and what they say is we're bringing our presents. But and then when the guy asks him
that
to
presence is golden, man. If you are an ultimate cheerleader, if you love being that, like, as soon as he gets home, you got the martini in hand and you got the stilettos on.
They don't
like,
want to do that either.
I'm so happy that you're home, baby.
Yeah, they don't have.
Be the table. Just be the table, but
they don't do that either. They're like,
I don't get that.
They're like, I'm not doing any of this stuff until you put a ring on it. Shouldn't you already be who you are, like without a thing?
I think so, but in your 20s, you don't really know who you are yet. You're still developing that person around your core beliefs and personality. You're still testing different modes of operating in the world and your relationships. So you're deciding, like, who are the people that I really want to be around? What are the games that they're really playing? Not only in my work environment, but in my family environment. Like, what are the games that my family is playing against me? And do I still want to be a part of them? Or do I want to, like, take the best and then just, like, ditch the rest? Which is a potential. And you keep doing that, like, throughout your different generations. You keep growing in that sense of, like, who am I? And what do I want to be? What do I stand for? So it's a process. Like, if you've met somebody in your 20s and you can like play off of each other and you bring out the best in each other, then I think that's the most ideal. But in order to do that, you have to think about long-term planning. And the whole soft guy era, the soft girl era, is very short-term thinking. And I get that most 20-year-olds are not thinking about when they're going to be in their 40s. That's ancient to them. They can't you can't conceptualize that. When I was 27, I was not thinking, how am I going to be living in my 40s and my 50s? I had an idea. I had dreams and goals, but there's no way that I could have prepared. All I wanted to know was, like, I want to keep growing in knowledge and awareness and all the things that I truly value. And made tons of mistakes throughout that process, because you're supposed to. But if you have, like, a good group, they're going to call you out on that. Be like, why are you treating that person like that? Why are you doing that? And then you actually have to think about it and just be like, ooh, I was doing that. What is this about? Because it's never about the person that you're, like, projecting onto. It's always about your own inner stuff and how you can, like, you attract somebody, usually, who can make up for your deficiencies. So they're going to be strong when you're weak. And you're going to be strong when they're weak.
Are you in your self-career?
No.
You're not in your self-career?
No.
You're saying you're in your
I'm in my let's be a team
partner
era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what men really want.
I know
it's called partnership.
It is called partnership.
Right?
For a good
it's called
reason.
partnership.
But like most of us, we don't exactly know how to be a team until we're on the team.
Yeah.
And then we're having to, like, negotiate. What are you good at? Okay, I'm gonna relinquish control of that thing and learn how to trust you.
But can we both agree that no relationship will ever be equal? Like 100% equal? Or do you disagree? I don't think you can measure it. I don't think it can ever be 100% equal. It's always gonna be a little and a little can't be 100% equal. Are you in a 100% equal relationship right now?
I don't know. I'd have to think of it because I don't think of it in those terms.
Because you
I
shouldn't.
think, like, there's no way that you can compare what a female brings to what a male brings.
That's
you
what I'm
should
saying.
not be comparing those things.
Therefore, it can never be equal.
That's whatever.
You can't compare it because how can we really compare a woman who go to labor, has a baby, sacrifice her life because
and her body,
it's dangerous,
yes,
and her life and her body,
yes,
have the baby, do this, do that,
yes,
right?
To carry on the man's lineage, technically.
To carry on the man's lineage.
For both of them.
To maybe the guy go to work, come home, the food's ready. But you can't really compare it. You can't really compare those two things. It's like, oh, it's equal now that I brought the money and you had the baby. You can't really compare that. it's not necessarily equal. It's not really a comparison thing. You know,
No.
as long as you feel
That
that
is
the person
balanced.
that is balanced, the person is bringing value to your life,
Yes.
that
Yes.
then that's what matters. You shouldn't be saying, okay, I did this and they
Right.
did that.
Doing
and I
this
did
comparison
this and they did
chart.
that.
Yes.
Now we're
this-
50-50.
Yes.
No, it should never be like that.
I don't think there's any 50-50. I agree with that.
Yes.
Because there's just parts in your life
Yeah.
where you are striving to do something and you can't do all the things
Yeah.
that
like,
you're supposed to do.
I naturally want to give my woman everything that she needs and my kids everything that they want and need in life. I naturally want to do that. But I'm not going to be like, okay,
Let me completely
Let me-
sacrifice myself for that? No.
no, I'm not going to be like, well, what? She hasn't done this for me. She's naturally going to want to do things for me too. Like,
Yeah.
that's how I always been. I've never really been like comparing this and comparing that. But if there's some need that you want and the person not doing it, communicate with the person. Be like, okay, this is what I want more of. You know what I'm saying?
I'm missing this.
Yeah, I'm
like
missing
I am
this.
really, really
This
missing
and
this.
that.
And if your partner can't give that to you, then you get to source it elsewhere. And be open and blunt about that. And I don't mean it like that. Okay. The first couple years that Mike and I were together, like that was just like all of the we were in couplehood, right? And then it gets to me and Mike. So then it gets to the point where it's like, wait a minute, like I really need my female friends back. Because for a hot minute I was just like, I'm doing couple things. And then you go back to it, it's like, oh no, I really need my girlfriends.
How about
I
your
really
male
need
friends?
to be
Really
do it.
need, did you need your male friends?
Oh yes.
So you think it's okay for a guy and a girl to be friends?
It's more than okay. It's natural. But if you're somebody who knows themselves, who understands their boundaries, who could say, like, this is the relationship that we're building, and this is the benefits of it, and here's how we could potentially F it up real bad. So let's not go down that road. There's the level of maturity of that you really need to grow into. Like you'll be missing out from so much. And I get that a lot of couples don't want to go through that growth and that progress. To be like, okay, I have a friend who gives me something that you can't give me. So I could say that to my dude and he could have insecurities about it. But if he trusts me, he's like, okay. Why would I ever, like, Mike has never been like, oh no, you can't hang out with this person. Number one, I wouldn't be with a man that was like that. I just, like, okay, you don't trust me because you don't trust you.
Yeah.
And even though you can say, like, well, I know what a man is, I know how he's thinking. So do I. Probably better than most people. I know what a man is thinking. It's been my job to know what the man is thinking. And I'm fine with that. You have a woman who understands her own sensual power, who knows how to control it, and not to make it into such big mushroom clouds of drama. It doesn't need to be. It's just like, I respect me, therefore I respect the people that I'm with, therefore I expect them to respect me. And it's like this cyclical thing. Like, I'll never cross over somebody else's boundaries.
Yeah.
Because of that same issue. Like you don't want to do that to your friends. Like deep down, like where's the friend line? Where's that open communication? Like I care about you more than I care about what I need in this background, in this fantasy that might be going on in my head.
Yeah.
Which is our problem with men and women.
So back to the soft guy era thing, right? So how do you think this soft guy era thing is gonna end?
It's not going to end, but I am excited because I thought about this. I totally thought about this. In the same ways that there have been the Me Too era, there's going to be a male version of this, where more and more guys are going to be outing the women who treat them like shit.
AKA the soft guy era?
Is this what this really is?
That's what
Where
it
they're,
is.
They're outing
It is.
them? They're just outing
is
these people? But not in just satire, but like, I refuse to be treated like
It
this.
is
and
still
this
in the
person is doing
juvenile
this.
stage right now.
Oh, we're going to see
guys-
much more.
The
of
guys
this
are
stuff.
coming. Right now it's satire, but it's about to get real.
The satire is the funniest.
It's about
Like,
to
if
get
you
real.
can do that, okay.
It's about to get real. But it's not the solution. But men are going to start taking it seriously. They're gonna keep making jokes.
They got balls.
They're gonna keep making jokes,
Say it like
and then
that, but
and they're gonna keep making jokes about it, and then they're gonna start taking it seriously. It's gonna be a shift.
is it a woman's responsibility to influence a man to become more of the hard guy era again?
It's
Is
not.
it her job? Okay, it's not.
It is completely in our hands
It
as
is.
men on how we behave.
We
But-
can help though. We can empower you to be the best of your man self.
Nah, y'all women not changing. Women are gonna be
Empowerment, goddammit.
Y'all gonna be who y'all are. Y'all gonna be who y'all are. We can only change ourselves. You know, we're not trying to change women. We trying to
Right.
open men's eyes to be more responsible and take accountability of what they're doing, because the things that are happening to them is their fault. If you are meeting women who are taking advantage of you, it is your fault.
Stop that.
It's not the
Just
woman's fault.
Stop that. Yes.
You-
Like, do not be weak like that. You cannot be weak like that.
So we're just trying to help other guys to see what is happening.
Sure.
To stop spending money on OnlyFans, because we are the ones who are funding all this thing that's going on.
This is true.
We're funding it. You're funding
Yeah.
these women to go
Yes.
on vacations that don't even like you. You're funding these dates and getting used for free food to women that don't like you. Maybe open your eyes and take accountability, because it's 100% your fault. It's not their fault. They're gonna keep doing what they're doing regardless.
Until you teach them to treat you differently.
And until they treat you, only
Yes.
you can do it for yourself, not anybody else. So I said that about the man. What you gotta say about the woman? Says it's the men's fault that we're doing this.
The women, I have a lot of compassion for a lot of women who they got stuck in a role of, I have to do everything by myself because I could not find a man who could help me do those things. The power distribution in a household is generations deep. So yes, you can be making the same amount of money, but you probably have the secondary job of coming home, cooking, cleaning, taking care of the kids, and it is not integral in a man's wiring to actually step up and do those things also, unless he comes from that household and he knows, like, I've got to interact, I have to do dishes, I have to do more feminine jobs now, right? Like, those little changes are going to implement themselves through the coming years. But we sort of expected the dudes to just automatically get on board, automatically learn how to juggle all of these things that we've been doing so long. That's tough. So I get the females who are just like, I've done all the things and I'm exhausted. I don't think that you get to punish men for the sins of the fathers. I think that's really bad. Or your exes. Mm-hmm. If you're punishing some guy because he wants to treat you well, what does that say about you?
Immaturity.
And a certain level of how you treat other people is really how you're treating yourself. Mm-hmm. So you're disrespecting yourself in a lot of different ways. And you might not see this for decades to come. It might not hit you until you're in your 40s or 50s and you're alone and you can't easily soak up whatever guy is going to show up and just be desperate for your attention, because you're no longer trading your youth for his attention. That's when it's going to hit you. Don't let that hit you like that. There's no need. You're not getting revenge on anybody. Not the past hundreds of years of female subjugation. You're not. I mean, we want to believe that we are, and we're righting the wrongs and correcting the imbalances. Treating a man the way that men have treated women is not the same as equality. At all.
Okay. All right.
But hey, if you want to redefine soft girl era for yourself, in which, yes, the cup flows over, you take care of yourself so much that you feel more softer, more feminine, that you get into all of those female attributes that have been missing and that make you feel like, okay, I can be a goddess in my own skin. Redefine that for yourself in a way that's empowering for you and the people around you. Otherwise, you're just taking from them. And
Yeah.
Do your history lessons. Like the gods who did that, the gods and goddesses that did that, weren't well received. Like there's a reason we're sort of like we're hinging from like, oh, god era, I'm gonna explain everything that can't be explained into this mythology, and now we're into this like, oh, it's science. But human nature stays the same. Very much so. So learn human nature. Like the traits of human nature. Which means on some level, it's okay to be selfish. On another level, it's really, really gratifying to be selfless.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, fill that cup up until it overflows, and then you can be selfless with everybody else. What does that look like to you? Does that mean like, I am going to be the most encouraging person, the most positive person, the most honest person to my friends and my dude? Like I have all of this goodness now. I'm just going to wash it over on them. And they're going to be like, oh, I feel so much more confident now. Like the power of a woman's femininity for a man is just like, oh, it's supercharges you.
I think we all should be in our soft guy and soft girl era.
That's nice. And take turns, yeah.
No, because really, really what it is if I find a good woman, right? Mm-hmm. I would want to ease the stress of her. Mm-hmm. Like there's certain things what is going to be stressful for her, but we're just I'm trying to make her as happy as I can, right? And then she's going to try to ease the stress over me as much as she can. So she's going to make things a little bit softer for me, life a little bit easier, and I make life a little bit easier for her.
Yes.
Ultimately, that's what we both want.
Yes.
You know? Ultimately. So, really, everybody is trying to make life a little bit more free, a little bit less stressful, and find somebody that bring them peace. That's what really a soft life is.
Yes.
Not a hard life. If you have love, you have somebody you really care about, you work all day, you come home, you're happy because you have that person that have your back no matter what. Mm-hmm. That's what that soft life is, right? But this fighting, this hate, trying to use people, that's not good. And that's where we're getting to because it's a battle between men and women.
Yes.
I'm trying to use you, you trying to use me. Nobody ultimately want that though. Everybody want a soft life, but the people who are taking advantage is now the other genders attacking back because you're taking advantage of me. Blah, blah, blah. We just got to take accountability and responsibility of the things that we do and the things that happen to us, and stop blaming other people. Oh, you did this to me. You did that to me. No, you let that happen to you, and you know.
Yeah, it's like Maya Angelou. It's like if you know better, you do better, and if you do better, you teach others to do better.
Ooh.
Like, and she was a queen. She was a queen.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. How do we conclude this? Because what is your final verdict and take on the soft guy era, the greatest era known to mankind?
Keep posting your outs. Get it out of your system. But realize by doing that, people are going to start labeling you as soft. Like that's the imprint that they're going to you're leaving in their mind. Do you want that? Just ask yourself that question. Do you want to be known as a soft guy?
As long as I know in my heart who I am, you can call me a soft guy all you want.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I've never called a man soft.
I don't care. You call yourself. We're like, you can call us soft all you want. We're in our soft guy era.
For me, though, I'm just from that generation where I'm like, I'm not gonna do that because I feel like that's disrespectful for a man. That's it for this episode. If you enjoyed, do all the things, the follows, and all the social channels, and we'll be back with more.
Goodbye.
Love the comments. Check out our Patreon. We're also at dearsweetandlow.com. That's DEA. That's DEAR.
Or DEER. Or DEIR.
You'll see the screen. Right. See you next time.
Come on now.